Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Gaming Quitte, the most delicious Quitte of them all, and finally I'm doing a video again. This video is going to be pretty different from the videos I did in the past. Just gonna give you an introduction to this idea. I just want to make more videos again. My idea was to just do unscripted videos about games that I've played and liked, and I guess, or maybe not liked, we'll see. And I guess I'm gonna start with Resident Evil 4 Remake at this time, because I've recently played it, I finished it, and I really liked it, but there's some thoughts that I have that I want to share. Like, for example, I've saw a lot of people say that it's a 10 out of 10 game, and I personally do not agree with that sentiment, but yeah, overall I really liked the game. I'm just gonna have some gameplay play in the back. That sadly didn't record while I was playing the entire game, so I'm not gonna have specific gameplay parts for you there, but we'll do somehow. Tell me in the comments below if you like this kind of video, because I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be interesting, but we'll see. So as a big fan of Resident Evil 4 back on the Wii version, I've played that tons. Never really got into the GameCube version. I don't know why, I think it was the controls that really threw me off back then. And the Wii version had some really amazing controls with the Wiimote. Loved it. And really enjoyed the game back then, but Ashley was a bit annoying at times back there. And I really love what they did with her in the remake. I don't think there was a second where I was, oh my god, Ashley, you're so annoying. They really remade her pretty well. She can run away from the enemies, or rather hide from the enemies, way better. You can like tell her to stay back or stick close to you. If you tell her to stick close, she will just continue to run with you. And if you tell her to stay back, she usually does. Sometimes I had moments where there was a moment where I threw a grenade into a group of enemies, and for some reason she decided to join, and I had to redo the fight, but that kind of stuff didn't happen that often, so Ashley was remade pretty well. Her character is not as annoying in the story anymore. She isn't a damsel in distress anymore, I would even say. Of course she gets kidnapped and needs saving, but there is an entire gameplay section with her that, as far as I remember, was pretty well revamped. I'm pretty sure it was way back in the days. You now have a blue lamp thingy. You can stun the parasite soldier, no, not soldier, knight costume thingies. It was fun. It was a pretty good difference to the rest of the game. But she did some stuff there. It was really cool. It also kind of changed to her actually saving Leon. I don't think he was in that much trouble back in the original, so she really was like, okay, I have to save him now. I have to rescue him. I want to rescue him, and I really like that. But overall, actually, really well done. I also love her new design. I do miss her goofy big ears. Apparently they're still there, you just can't see them in the normal outfit, but I really like her new design. I do not mind that she's wearing a skirt. Apparently a lot of people were really pissed about that she's not as sexy anymore, and oh my god, I can't look at her panties anymore. I'm just like, okay, sure. If that's your problem with the game, alright, then I guess you have some other problems. Also, there's no weird pervy moments anymore between Leon and Ashley, and I really like that. When she goes up a ladder, there's no weird comments anymore about him looking up at her skirt. So I think that's a good change, and it's not like she is not kind of sexy anymore or anything, because she has some intense jiggle physics. Even her thighs do have jiggle physics. So I'm pretty sure if you're looking for some pervy sexiness moments, you have them if you want to see them. So I just wanted to mention that because I didn't understand people were like, oh my god, the game is censored, when it clearly is not. In general, there were a lot of really good changes in the remake. Some fights were changed, like the fight against Ramon, I think he's called. when he turns into a big weird plant creature parasite thingy. I remember that disliking in the original, and I also really disliked the new version of the fight. It's probably a skill issue, I will admit that. Maybe I'm just bad. But I just didn't like the fight. I had to redo it like 3 or 4 times because I kept dying because he had to get shot so often. And of course, at some point, I was able to see through the patterns, but there were just a few attacks that I couldn't evade because I'm stupid and bad. And I like that they did something new. I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority with that fight, not liking it. It just really was really frustrating. So I genuinely just didn't enjoy it. It was visually it was cool. In general, the game looks amazing, but I didn't like that. What I liked was the changes in the fight against Krauser. The first thing when he first appears, it was in the original. It used to be a QTE sequence. And they completely got rid of that stuff, which is amazing, really good change. And they replaced that QTE sequence with an entire fight where you can only use your knife. That was a lot of fun, and one of the new mechanics is that Leon can now parry attacks most of the time if you get the prompt for it. And you were able to use that quite a lot in that fight. It was really enjoyable. Also had kind of a different, well, it felt different than the rest of the game because the focus was on just hand-to-hand combat, and I really liked that. It was really cool. In general, the Krauser fights, for most of the time, you can save your ammunition and just stab him. That's really cool. And those are some good changes. What I noticed in the Ramon fight, for example, the first time, is that I was really annoyed that you cannot evade or roll all the time. And that was a problem I had through the entirety of the game. Because sometimes when there were bigger attacks, you got the prompt to evade, which is okay, that's cool. But sometimes you couldn't. And I don't understand the reason why you were able to evade for some attacks and for some you weren't. So I would have really liked to just have a roll button in general. I mean, it's not like I want to roll around like at the speed of sound like in a Dark Souls or Elden Ring or whatever. I mean, it could have been on cooldown or anything. It's just sometimes you get so overwhelmed with tons of enemies coming at you, and your only possible option to get out of that would have been to like do a little roll. But I had several moments where I was like, I had like 3 or 4 parasited enemies on me, and they just kept attacking me. My health was going down so fast and I died, and I was just like, okay, if I could have rolled at least once, I could have gotten out of this. And I know it's a skill issue, like I said, but it led to a few very frustrating moments, and I couldn't really understand why can't I just always wait, let me do a little roll. I mean, Leon is clearly capable of doing that. Aside from that, the gameplay is good. You have to preserve your ammunition, you have to aim well to not waste a lot of bullets, you have to like mix up, I mean that's something that was in the original too, you have to like shoot an enemy in the head and then go melee them to save ammunition and stuff like that. So you do have to think about what you do. You can't just shoot around blindly, which I mostly did because I suck. But that is fun, and you can craft your own ammunition, and you have to think about what you want to craft, and I like that because it gives some kind of a strategic element to it. Because if you just always craft handgun weapons, ammunition, you're not gonna have enough ammunition for the other stuff, like a shotgun, which can save you from bigger enemies, for example. Now, I want to talk about some other changes to the characters. Louis, for example, or Louis? I don't remember how to pronounce his name, but the cool guy who in the original was kind of sleazy and weird and made sexual comments about basically every female character in the game, and he didn't do that anymore, which made him way more likable. Just in general, he was way more likable character. His motives came across way better, and just in general, he is a way more helpful character now. in the in the scenes where he is there as a supporting character, where he shoots around himself, and all of that is really cool. It made him way better. They also remade Ada into a way better character for this game, because in the original she was just an evil femme fatale, and now she is way more likable. She just isn't a... I mean, she's badass, okay? She was badass in the original, she's badass now. But they also kind of changed, I don't want to spoil it, they did change a lot about the ending and the way she acts, and it is, in my opinion, way better. And it also... I don't know if they're gonna remake Resident Evil 5, but it felt like they changed the ending so that in theory they don't have to redo Resident Evil 5. Let's just leave it at that. And speaking about Ada, and I was talking about jiggle physics earlier, Ada has some interesting physics. Let's just say like that. It's gonna be on the screen for a second. Leon is also a character that was changed quite a bit in terms of, like, he's way more serious now. He is, I don't know, I kind of sometimes miss the goofiness and how he tried to be cool and edgy in the original. Now he's just like a cool, badass guy, and it takes out the kind of comedic value that the original had, but I also respect that they were like, okay, we need to tone it down a little bit. But then it's at some points in the game, Leon is just goofy badass. Like, there's a scene where two enemies barge through a wall with chainsaws, and instead of just going back 2 steps, Leon just pushes himself against the wall and does a backflip. It's really cool. Overall, Leon also doesn't try to be so edgy anymore in the phone calls with Ada, for example. He's pretty... how should I say? He doesn't say a lot anymore. There's still a few one-liners that he does, which are cool. But yeah, he's almost a bit too serious now, I would say, which is a little bit sad. But I love his interactions with Ashley. I love how protective he is of her, and that he would just give his life for her. And it's not because there's some weird tension between them. I mean, Ashley still is obviously at the end of the game a little bit into him. And oh, huge spoiler, she doesn't say the weird line to him if she wants to do some overtime with her or something like that. That line was cut, and I'm really happy about that, because it made their relationship way more interesting, and not just her being horny for him because he saved her life, but it's just like they work together, they're partners throughout this adventure. And now it just feels like she started liking him, obviously. And it also feels like maybe he likes her a little bit more than just protecting her, but I still don't think that he's into her that way. But I will leave that to the shippers out there. So overall, I would say it is a great remake. I do not regret paying full price for it on release for my Xbox. I enjoyed it tons. I did play it on Xbox Series X. It looks fantastic. I do not have a really cool TV yet, so I haven't played it in 4K or whatever, so I just played it on a normal HD TV. But that's gonna change soon. I'm gonna get a new TV soon. That's besides the point. It looks really great. The voice acting is fantastic in my opinion. And overall, I would recommend playing it. Like, if you're into that. The thing is, it's not horror in my opinion. I mean, it's survival horror, but it's not like scary horror. And I feel like, I don't know if I've maybe just changed a lot, but I feel like when I played the V version of the game, I was stressed out more than I was today, because I always liked that Resident Evil 4 is more like survival horror, where you're just stressed because you have to survive somehow, and you're not scared because there could be a scary thing around the corner. But now it's just, it used to be you're so stressed because there's tons of enemies. And I don't know why, but in the remake, sometimes I was more frustrated because there's just so many enemies. I repeatedly asked my partner who was watching me play, and who also played the original, if there were that many enemies in that particular area back in the original, because I couldn't remember there being so many enemies. And I know it's part of what I just said, that I used to enjoy that, when there were tons of enemies and I was stressed. And here I was just sometimes a little bit annoyed because I was like, okay, I just killed a bunch of guys. I was stressed and now there's even more guys and I'm running low on ammo and it is kind of just annoying. But once again, probably just a skill issue. I will go back when the mercenary mode drops, which is pretty soon, I think, on April 4th. So I'm excited to play that, just play around a little bit. And I really do hope that there's going to be like Ada's story in the game too at some point, probably as paid DLC. Oh, and speaking of DLC, I did not buy the costume DLCs. Maybe I'm gonna do that when I replay the game, because there's like this punk outfit for Ashley, which looks really cool. I really like that. But yeah, maybe I'm gonna buy it, maybe not. Maybe when it's on sale. But when Separate Ways, I think that's what it was called, comes out with Ada, definitely going to go back and play that, simply because I will then look at Ada's jiggling butt a lot. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Please tell me down below if you will like these kind of videos where I just sit down for a few minutes, talk about the game, because I kind of want to do more of these just so I can finally do something again on the channel. I do have a few more games, recent games that I would love to talk about, but I also wouldn't mind doing this kind of style with older games. But I will most definitely also still make big edited videos. I have been working on one for several months now. So videos with fun edits and scripts and stuff like that will still also come, I hope. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like, and if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this, please subscribe. And I will hopefully soon see you in the next video. If you want to know what I'm up to when I'm not making videos, by the way, follow me on Twitter, as long as it still exists. Alright, and on TikTok. And yeah, that's it about it. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye!